All right, guys, welcome to the final module of the mindset class. We are going to talk about retirement. Now, remember, the whole idea behind the mindset class is that we're going to be talking about very high level concepts around these things. This is going to be a shorter module to wrap up the course, but I will go into much more detail about how to get into the nitty gritty of applying some of the concepts that I'm going to teach you here. So we're not going to get into any of the how-tos. What I really want you guys to get out of this course is the what and the how to think of all of these different concepts. So as we dive into the retirement module, keep that in mind. As we do in every module that we have, I need to give you guys a disclosure before we move forward. I am not a licensed attorney, accountant, financial advisor, real estate broker, real estate agent, or any other licensed individual. Even if I have a license, I'm not acting in that capacity. Therefore, I will not discuss or provide any specific counsel, advice, or instruction that would apply to specific individuals. This presentation is intended to be general information, and I recommend that you engage the services of professionals in making decisions that have a legal impact, especially financial decisions. With that said, let's dive in. I want to talk to you about how the wealthy save versus how the employees save. You see, the employee mindset individual in elementary school, middle school, high school, and college, we were all taught to go about savings in all of its various forms with one strategy. We were taught one strategy. In my opinion, that strategy is worthless. And that is what I have come to call the accumulation strategy. We're taught to build nests. So think of these nests that we build, right? We've got our emergency fund nest, and we've got our vacation fund nest, and we've got our retirement fund nest, and we've got all these different nests that we build. And out of every paycheck, we try to put an egg or two in each one of the nests. And the idea is that over the course of time, we'll have these various nests full of eggs, right? But there's a flaw in that. Let's just zoom in. Let's just talk about the retirement account nest in the accumulation strategy. The standard model for retirement accounts is 401ks or IRAs, and with most jobs, they offer a 401k retirement package, and they will take and sometimes even match. And I kind of find it laughable that employee mindset individuals are so addicted to talking about the match that they get from work and the benefits that they get from work, right? When really, if you just go out and make more money, it makes those benefits obsolete. But digressing to the point of the retirement account nest, the idea there is that every time you get paid, usually every 2 weeks, your employer will pull a portion of your paycheck out and put it into your retirement account nest, thereby putting an egg into the nest, if you will. Well, over the course of your career, you get a pretty good nest of eggs. And by the time you hit about 65 and a half, you're looking at the next nest of eggs and you're thinking, you know what? I'm feeling pretty good about this. I think I'm going to retire. And you go ahead and pull the trigger and you retire. And the problem is once you retire on that plan, you're no longer contributing to the nest. Now you're pulling eggs out of the nest to survive, right? So you pull an egg out of the nest. First month, you crack it, you use it. Next month, you pull another egg out, you crack it, you use it. And this goes on and on and on. You hit about 75, you still got a pretty good pile of eggs and you're feeling pretty good about life. So life continues to happen, and you hit 85 and it's starting to dwindle a little bit, but you're still feeling pretty good. And then you hit 95 and you look at your pile of eggs and you think, oh my goodness, I'm running out of eggs. Hopefully I die before I run out of money, because this is going to get really uncomfortable in a minute, right? And that is the fallacy in the strategy. If your exit plan is that hopefully I die before I run out of money, then there is a flaw to your plan, right? Nobody's exit strategy should ever be, hopefully I die before I have to, encounter that problem. So I do not like the accumulation strategy. I don't like it for emergency fund. In my opinion, speed banking is a much better way for a wealthy mindset individual to handle their emergency fund. I don't like the accumulation strategy for retirement. I think that asset accumulation is a much better way, and cash flow is a much better way to handle retirement than the accumulation strategy. And that exemplifies how the wealthy go about retirement. You see, the wealthy will just buy freaking chickens, because a chicken will lay an egg every single month, regardless of what you do. A chicken will lay an egg. You could be sick for more than 2 weeks out of the year, which happens sometimes, right? That happens to some people. And you know what? If you only got 2 weeks of paid leave at work, then that's a problem. But chickens lay eggs regardless of if you're sick. Chickens will lay eggs regardless of your geographic location. You could decide to take a full year and go explore Europe. And that's up to you, but a chicken will still lay an egg because it has nothing to do with your geographic proximity to the chicken. Now, of course, I'm not talking about chickens. I'm talking about assets. The wealthy buy assets that generate cash flow. They generate those money eggs every single month without fail, regardless if they're sick, regardless if they're out of town. You could be dead and you will still get paid from well-managed assets. So we're not talking about chickens. We're talking about assets here, and this is a real estate course. So what we're really talking about is well-managed rental properties, single-family rental properties, Airbnb properties, multifamily properties. If they're well-managed, they will continue to produce regardless of what you're doing. You could be dead, and it will still pay you. Good luck finding a job that will still pay you if you're dead. It's not going to happen, right? But the wealthy, they've cracked this system because, property does not die with you. It's something you can pass on to your children and onto their children. It's a legacy that we're creating. So with that said, the way to go about retirement as a wealthy mindset individual is by asset accumulation during your career. During your working life, and this is going back to Module 7, never spend the first dollar. During your working career, do those first dollar activities and use that money and treat it almost as sacred funds to go out and acquire second dollar assets, because those second dollar assets is what will continue on and through your retirement and even through the rest of your life and continue to pay you at a rate. This is the only way that I know of where you can be more wealthy when you retire than you were during your career. It definitely doesn't work that way with the accumulation strategy. Usually, the elderly have to cut back quite a bit once they decide to retire in order to make ends meet on their 401k or their IRA or Social Security. Those are not retirement plans of the wealthy. Those are retirement plans of the employee mindset. So it's time to change. It's time to change the mindset, right? Let's go out and let's become wealthy mindset individual. Let's start thinking about those retirement plans and the portfolio of real estate properties that we're going to accumulate that will continue to pay you cash flow no matter what. Now, I go into these strategies. I've got an entire class that we're going to be covering that talks about using self-directed 401ks and IRAs to go out and acquire real estate assets so that you can take advantage of some of the tax benefits from using 401ks and IRAs, but while using the principles that we talked about here of acquiring cash flowing assets as your retirement plan rather than using the accumulation strategy. In my opinion, the accumulation strategy is good for nothing. If your attitude is to save, think back to when we talked about how the wealthy have an attitude of money at rest is a liability. If you're saving, if you're stockpiling money, it's just a pile of money that's sitting there doing nothing except losing value to inflation. Money at rest is a liability. Money at work is an asset. Money that you dump into real estate properties, it's not like buying a liability. That money doesn't disappear. That money stays there in equity. It's going to appreciate over time, like we've seen historically. But it's also going to provide you with that cash flow that is going to be that retirement fund. In earlier modules, I believe it was module 2 or 3, we talked about how you can buy a car using a very similar principle. It can buy your liabilities for you. This is such an important thing to understand and to start preparing for now, and regardless of what stage you're at. If you're only a few years away from retirement, or if you're in retirement, or if you're just starting your career and you're in your 20s or your late teens, this is applicable no matter what. It's important to be cognizant of it. It's important to be thinking about the future and what that's going to look like when that retirement age hits. And this is the way to accomplish that. Guys, that wraps up the retirement module. This has been module 10, and it actually wraps up the entire mindset course. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for sticking through it. I look forward to watching your progress as you make the journey from employee mindset to wealthy mindset. And I'm excited to get into some of the nitty-gritty details on how to start that investor journey into real estate investing that we're all so excited about. Thank you so much for your time, and we'll see you in the next course.